All right, Hanrahans, how we doing?
Doing well.
Our guest this evening needs no introduction. He is fired up. He does not want Torch fired. We already discussed that. So we'll get into that in the second half of the hour. But anyway, how about it for Big Bird, Don Selesky?
Hey! There you go. Two-time Stanley Cup champ.
Hey, couple of things. We got a birthday in the house. Come on, you can do better than that, Robert.
You had it started. Come on, get him going.
Come on, let's go. Let's give it up for Sue, huh?
Sue. Honestly, I don't know what to say. As a receiver.
She's speechless.
Where's Sue?
Right there. The lady with the balloons, the prizes, the presents, the raffle tickets.
That's right.
The flowers from Tony. There you go. There you go. Anyway, thank you. Thanks for coming out. Always a great night here at Hanrahan's Irish Pub in good old Delco. And we got a fired up former Flyer sitting right in the middle here. So, Johnny, what do we got first?
Well, I like the way we started the show before the show with
the show before the show.
Yeah, that was a good brawl.
That was a good brawl. No, I don't think the brawl happened yet, but it's coming.
Yeah, let's start talking about Torch right on.
Yeah, now see, I'm the same way with you. I like tough coaches. If you can't have a tough coach telling you what to do and you're going to go run home and cry to mom, I don't want you here in Philadelphia.
You know, kids are. Everybody says, everyone I talk to, and I talk to a lot of guys. You know, whether it's Fridge or Boosh or Jonesy, or everybody tells me the same thing. The kids are different nowadays. You can't treat them the same way. You got to be a little softer. You got to be this. You got to get that. You got to be kind and gentle and all this kind of stuff. But that's good if the kids produce.
Right.
You know, they got to deliver.
Exactly.
But I don't care where you are, anything in life, any kind of job. Every once in a while, somebody's going to come down on you if you're not doing your job.
Exactly.
That's only fair.
Right. Exactly. And like I said, it's the new generation. You got to just say yes, and everything's hunky dory. But
you can't do that. And, I know Carl's a different perspective. He's a softie. He wants everybody to be treated gentle and kind, and Torch should go because he benches a guy.
Don't stop.
Don't stop. Torch should go because he gave Konecny a C and then he sat him down. Well, maybe just you ever think that maybe Cooch sat himself down? That they gave him a C and that was supposed to inspire him, and he was supposed to bring it back to a different level, and then he never did. And so, the coach said, doesn't matter who it is, I got to send the same message and I got to be consistent. Right. And he said, you know what, take a little time off and watch from the stands, and maybe he'll come back with a different perspective. And I think Coots is trying, but, let's call it like it is. He's, 34 years old now? He just missed 2 years with a bad back, out with surgery. He's the shell of a player that he was. If anything, the mistake was giving him the C when they did.
We agree on that.
We agree on something?
We agree on that.
That's good.
Take it to.
Show's over.
Yeah, this is going to get better now.
No, but you mentioned Walker and Trayton Walker, and they haven't been the same team since.
Well, I don't think they've won a game since they traded Walker. Now, if I'm Danny Briere and I'm getting what I got for Walker, I'm trading Walker. You got to do it for the future of the team.
Right.
But he did that consciously. He had to know. He's a smart hockey guy. Jonesy's a smart guy. They had to know it was going to hurt the team because he was he was definitely their top defenseman, if not one of their best
Yep.
best players overall. The kid played great this year, and it was unexpected. He was like a gift to them. And
He was a throw-in in the trade.
and he was a leader.
Absolutely.
So that hurt these guys moving him. But
Well, did they
tank? No, they didn't tank.
Not to interrupt you, but they had a couple more injuries on defense. Let's be honest here. So, I mean, everything played together.
Well, it all came down at the same time. You had Walker's gone, Sealer's out with the foot injury. Drysdale got hurt. And so 3 guys that you're really counting on are gone from the lineup. And you're putting in kids with less than 20 games, 10 games experience in the NHL, expecting that you're going to play against seasoned pros. And, these other teams, they may not be in the playoffs, but they're professionals. And they got some, they're pretty well stacked. They got some good players on the teams. So, you got to be ready for any given night. Any team can beat another team. You got to be prepared to play every night.
All right. So we're talking all hands on deck. They got blown out last night, 9-3.
Horrible.
What's the excuse?
Embarrassing. The only thing I can compare it to is my last year I got traded to Colorado, and I believe we only won 15 games that year, and we were out of the playoffs. So we were in that spoiler role, and when you went into those games, you were loose. Freewheeling. You had no pressure on you. And when we played against teams that were on the bubble for the playoffs, we went after them. If they got us down early, odds are they were going to stomp on us. But if we got a lead on them, and then they started to get a little tight, we would push them to the brink and win the games. So I've been on that other side, and these guys are playing for next year already.
Yeah, they're checks, yeah.
And, some of them are playing for new contracts. Look at that kid that scored 3 goals last night, got the hat trick, made his season, So it's not easy to play in those games and win them, particularly when you've got
all the pressure on you.
All the pressure on you.
And like you said in the beginning, the team wasn't a rebuild. So we weren't really expected to be where we're at. They're playing well, and maybe it's caught up to them a little bit, with injuries and everything else.
We were in the playoffs for a good hunk of the season.
Yeah, 124 days, I think.
Yeah, and they never expected to be there.
Right.
We did not expect we were going to be in that position. I give them a lot of credit for accomplishing what they did this year.
Right.
When I think that a lot of the league was picking them to be near the bottom.
Yeah.
And so in some aspects, they've overachieved, but it was the timing of they self-destructed at the end. And then you get things like, Hart's gone, Harrison's, a rookie. It's his first year really in the league. He kept them in the race. He did a good job, but he might have been tired a little bit. The league starts to figure him out a little bit. He started to show his weaknesses.
And they were also playing some tougher teams, through that little bit of stretch there as well.
They played well during that stretch.
And they did.
Coming out of that, we were all happy as hell.
Right.
Oh
yeah. No, exactly. It's true.
All right, we got some business to take care of. First and foremost, there's a $5 special tonight on Lauren's ready for me to butcher this big time. What is it? There you go. $5. It's a great IPA. I'm not an IPA guy, and I love it. It's fantastic. And you get to keep the friggin' glass, which is even better yet.
What kind of IPA is that?
Where's my bar guy? Huh?
What kind of
6.2?
It's a West Coast style IPA.
Well, I'll be the judge, okay? I'll measure that one.
There you go. He knows a thing or two.
No. He wants to try one of the.
Just bring me a piece.
All right, so we got a special in the house. We've also got raffle prizes that we give away right around 8 o'clock. If you're new to the show, you get 2 free tickets. $1 each for additionals. All the money goes to our charity. So there's some great prizes up here. Dave Schultz, Bobby Clark, come on. There's some great stuff. Donnie, is there not great stuff up here?
Don Celesti.
Don Celesti. Huh? Big Bird, right? Come on.
There you go.
So anyway, again, I want to thank the Clark family for having us. Jimmy, Donnie, Marcy, everybody involved. Thank you for having us. I believe Kathleen is waiting on everybody tonight. Give a wave for Kathleen. No, you're not. No, you could care less. Okay. All right. So take care of your bartenders and servers, please. Order up. The wings are great. The food's awesome. The beer's cold. They got a beer special. I've been screaming for a beer special for a year. We finally got a friggin' beer special.
New news.
New news! So anyway, if you guys got any questions, Lauren's going to walk the room for any questions for our guests. We'll talk. I think he'll talk just about anything. He's in one of those ornery moods, just like any other Broad Street bully was and is.
He's a little shy.
Did you say that beer was something Views from California?
West Coast.
West Coast?
He's coming in. Here we go.
It's a West Coast style IPA, so it's bright, citrusy, very clear, 6.2% alcohol.
As long as it's not from California.
It is from California.
Oh,
It's been
man.
around
I'm
for
still.
30 it's been around for 30 years though, too. It's not an
Okay.
IPA.
Okay, we'll give it a try. I'd give it a real try.
Of course.
He knows a thing or two about beers. So get him a sample. Let's go. Come on. All right, we got a big crowd in the back. There's seats up here. If you guys would like to come up, feel free. Come on up. We're taking all newcomers, oldcomers, whatever. Jim Wright, what happened to your daughter? She leave?
Yeah.
She don't want no parts of the show, huh? It's just getting good.
This is a great looking crew from Delco County. You know what? I would have worn my Delco sweatshirt tonight if I never thought about it. I'm dressed inappropriately.
You look
You're
fine.
in Drexel Hill.
Delco.
Delco. Anyway, thanks again for coming out. Come grab your raffle tickets if you haven't already. Say hello to Mr. Wharton walking by with his hat on backwards. That's disrespectful. We take shots at everybody, right, Tony?
Exactly.
100%. No one is safe. All right, so let's jump into the Broad Street Bully era.
Sure.
Are you ready?
Oh, yeah, let's go.
Give us just a little snippet of what it was like in the locker room back in the day. You know, we talked a little bit about today's players, but let's go back 50 years. You know, what was it like in the locker room if you guys lost 2 games in a row? You know, what was it like?
I don't know if we ever did.
Yeah, I was gonna say that.
But it wasn't good when we lost a game. And even when we won games, my memory with Freddie was that the angriest you would ever see Freddie is when you would win a game, and in doing so, it was one of those games where you're running up the score and everybody wanted to be a goal scorer and started to lose their discipline of what he expected. Because regardless of what people think about the Broad Street Bullies, they're all tough guys and all they did was fight. We had a system. We used to practice our system relentlessly. I mean, out of an hour and a half practice, we'd work on the system for 45 or 50 minutes, just coming out of our end, entering the other zone, and it would be repeat, picking up the puck along the boards, having Moose DuPont barrel in on you and running over you, and just, simulating a game situation. So that's when he would get real upset. And when we lose games, if we lose 2 in a row, it was really, Freddie wasn't a yeller. I can't remember him raising his voice very often, just maybe occasionally. If he ever wanted to talk to you, he was a little different than, I think, today's coaches. He would actually bring you into his office and sit you down and have a conversation with you. But he also had a knack of speaking to you and touching you while he was speaking to the entire team. And you would know exactly which players he was talking about when he'd do it. So he had a great style. I have so much respect for Freddie because he's not only a great coach, but he was a great friend and a great leader. But, the policing of the games when we were not playing up to par would come from the leadership of the team. And it started with Clarkie. And then we had Joe Watson. He's not a shy guy, right?
Not at all.
We had Barry Ashby's, we had Ed Van Imps, we had Gary Dornhoffers, we had Ross Lonsberry's, we had,
Schultz.
I wouldn't put Schultz in the category of leading the team motivationally in the dressing room. He was one that had to be talked to maybe more often than not. But we had a lot of great leaders, so there was a lot of respect for the leadership, and we didn't want to let each other down. So when we were in situations where we knew when we weren't playing good, we knew who was letting us down on the team and who wasn't there that night to play. And we called guys out. Jimmy Watson wasn't afraid to call guys out either. So Freddie was in a unique situation where we had a lot of guys, a lot of that motivation took place right there on the bench. Kinderchuk was a good leader that way too. And so was Terry Crisp. So when you think of it all, we had, guys that were leaders away from hockey, and as coaches and general managers. And so we had that built into the team.
Yeah, that's what you need. And I think it's missing in today's
Yeah.
hockey.
The best message Freddie ever delivered, and I've told this a lot of times, was we were losing to Toronto in the playoffs, and after this message, we won the next 4 games. And they had a good team. They had Salmon and Sittler and Lanny McDonald and Tiger Williams, and they had a lot of good players. But we were better than them, so we should have been winning. And Freddie came into the dressing room before the game, and he put this bucket on the table, and he left, and he never came back to have the pregame talk with us. And the 3-minute bell went off for us to get ready to go out and play. And Clarkie just said, well, I guess Freddie's not going to come and talk to us tonight. So we knew what the lines were, and so we didn't need any of that conversation. And Freddie came back in with about a minute left. He went over to the training table and he said, Ricky, come over here. And Ricky McLeish. And he said, Ricky, put your hand in that bucket of water. He put it in. He says, now pull it out. He pulled it out and he said, Ricky, see the hole that's left? Ricky said, hey, Freddie, there ain't no hole there. And he looked at him and he said, that's how much we'll miss you when you're gone. I mean, talk about a message to an entire team, I mean, Freddie, he just knew Ricky was the easy target because Ricky would fall for it.
Right. Yep.
All right. Any questions?
That's a
comments?
damn good beer, by the way.
Isn't that good?
That's a darn good beer.
Huh?
That's a good beer right there.
IPA.
Thank you, Don. Come on, me, I'm
If
just
you
kidding.
do have any questions, I'm just gonna ask that you come up here to the microphone, because anytime I try to go around that speaker, we like lose our hearing, so if you do have any questions, just come up this way. And we got our first question.
And one of my favorite memories of that year is the game against the Russians in '76. What are some of your big memories, takeaways from that whole game and experience?
first of all, it was probably next to winning the cups. And watching my grandson play in the World Series this summer, the Little League World Series, it was my fourth best memory of my life, other than getting married, by the way. You know, that would be there. But
Mary Ann's watching, by the way.
yeah, she's probably watching. So
That's not what you said before the show.
That's
yeah, no,
that's-
I didn't say that.
That's what you were thinking.
She's probably asleep right now. So that game, it was huge because it was finally the NHL wanted the Flyers to win a game
Yeah.
because it was a deciding game. And, you know, we had Clarence Campbell and who was the president of the league back then, and he never liked the Flyers. He didn't like our style. He would prefer finesse hockey. And so even Clarence was cheering for us. And the Russians had beat other teams because people were chasing them all over the ice. And this goes to the discipline that we had as a team. Like, people look back and they get the check on Ed Van Impe had on the guy, I think his name was Karmelov. And then they show a couple shots of us hitting some of the Russians, and they say how physical we were and how intimidating and stuff like that. And maybe we were to them, but the style of play that Freddie, we practiced several days leading up to that game, was we knew that the Russians were gonna keep circling back until you chased them, got out of position, and then they moved the puck to that open spot. And that was their whole game, was cycling the puck. And so Freddie coached us on a very early version of the trap. We just held our positions, held our wings, stayed where we were supposed to be, and it frustrated the crap out of the Russians because they couldn't get the puck across the red line. Because if you remember then, it's a long time ago, but there was the two-line pass, so you couldn't pass the puck all the way through two zones. And so the style of play was very effective. So we frustrated the heck out of them. And they used it as an excuse when they left the ice, that we were playing too physical. That was when Eddie hit that one guy. And you know, the memory of that is Ed Snyder going into their dressing room and telling them, okay, if you don't come back out, you don't get paid. The Russians understood getting paid, and they came back out, but their heart was in it. You could see in them that they didn't want to, after that, they didn't want to play. Some of the things that I remember about them was that these guys didn't wash their uniforms, and they didn't, they thought it would make you weak if you like washed your underwear and stuff, I guess. But they smelled so bad. It was like horrible skating beside them. I've never smelled anything like it. And after the game, we were still in the dressing room, and Jimmy, our trainer, brought in a load of towels, and he said, and the soap, and it wasn't touched. He said that what they did was rub oil on their bodies after the game, and nobody used the shower. I said, no, now that tells me why it was a bad smell. But that was the weight of the league was on us. We were focused on that game. We were very disciplined. We didn't take bad penalties. And before the game, we could look up the ref. I thought it was Lloyd Gilmore, but it might have been Art Scove who was the ref. I think it was probably Scove. He wasn't a fan of ours, so he didn't really like our style of play either. He came into the dressing room before the game, and he said, poked his head in just for like 2 seconds. And he said, hey guys, I'm gonna let you play tonight. And that was all we needed to hear.
There you go. That changes a lot of things.
Yeah.
Donnie, you have a question? Are you in line?
No, I was just.
Come on, you're a hockey guy. This one's for you. Come on.
Well, I'm in agreement with you, Don, Mr. Selesky, that I want to see Tortorella. We need him, and I think he deserves at least.
All right, next question.
You know what? The Tortorelli thing is really it's a dilemma because he does so many good things, and then sometimes the way that he sits guys, and you know, I don't know. People say he's tough on them verbally. I think you gotta have some tough love in life. Some of the city guys, like I forgot that he sat Konechny. He's the best player on the team. He arguably shouldn't be doing that. But did he do enough with that team to deserve to be back? I say if Sirianno's coming back, Tortorelli should be back. So.
Absolutely. We got two people clapping.
Oh, listen to this.
We got two people.
My question is, do you think this team is this is too young and running out of gas right now?
I think it's a combination of that. We talked about it earlier. I think that you had a lot of defensemen hurt at an inopportune time, right when we traded Walker. I think that their goaltending needs to be improved. I look at the draft picks, recent draft picks. They picked a lot of goaltenders. One of them's got to come through and be a real goaltender, because in drafting all these goaltenders and defensemen, and they have loaded up goaltenders, defensemen, and wingers. When you look at this team, respectfully, I like these guys. I think that Morgan Frost is a good kid. I think that Couturier is a wonderful human being. And I think that Scotty Lawton is a great player. But Noah Cates, hardworking kid. But you tell me what other team in the league one of them would be on the first line center on. And you look at the teams that really excel. Eichel will go to Vegas, Suzuki in Montreal. Teams need to be strong up the middle. You got to build that team up the middle. I look at Konechny, I look at Farabee, I look at Forster, I look at a lot of the other wingers that they've got. I look at what's his name, the kid, the veteran kid that we got, starts with an H. Help me out.
Hathaway.
Yeah, Hathaway, hard-nosed kid, great fourth line, great team player. And
Some nights he's the best player on the ice.
well, because he's coming to grind every night. He's Gary Dornhofer, a version of Gary Dornhofer. And so if you don't have a strong middle, and I looked at the last few years of drafting, no centers. So I don't know where they're going to get it from. If you don't strengthen that middle of your ice, you are going to have a hard time improving. You're going to have to play the same brand. You're going to have your defenseman blocking 25 shots a night. You're going to have to be playing that dump and chase and hope. And, you know, I saw a couple other, they've got, you know, a few other wingers that are coming up that are big, strong guys, but they're not, their weakness is up the middle, no doubt.
Yeah, I like Briere and
Jonesy.
Jonesy was talking about, you know, trying to get those 100-point guys is what you're talking about, that you're missing.
You need somebody that you need somebody to get the puck to the Konechny's, Farabees, and Forster on a consistent basis. And they got to be able to do it like 80% of the nights, not 40%.
Right.
So, you know, they've got a way to go, but we knew this, and we talked about it earlier. We didn't expect them to be close to having a playoff run this year. They shocked the heck out of me, quite frankly, and I'm proud of what they've done. And I think it takes a lot of courage. I get in discussions with people about Briere's moves. I think he's made a lot of the right moves. I would have done it with Walker to get that number one choice, as
Oh, right.
opposed to trying to squeak into the playoffs and losing that future opportunity,
Yeah.
because they are in a rebuild.
Oh, yeah, you're gonna need that in the future, like I said, to add up those extra players. So, yeah, it was just we got teased a little bit, which was a good tease that they overachieved it like they did, and then fall behind it, you know.
Well, yeah, we
But
got
the
spoiled.
experience
We
was
got
nice.
spoiled.
Right,
We got
exactly.
spoiled early. They played well.
Right.
They were playing well over their heads. You know what I mean? But, goaltending was different. Defense was different.
Yeah.
They were scoring. They were doing all the right things. And then all of a sudden, it's kind of like we lost 2 or 3 guys.
Yeah.
We lost the goaltender. Everything kind of like fell on its face. And hey, I don't want to see any coach get fired. Torts has been great for the team. I just don't know. And I'm going to ask you. You're very opinionated. Is Torts the
I
right
am.
guy? Is Torts the right guy to win a cup here in Philly 3 years from now?
I don't know if Torts can last 3 more years. That's the question mark.
That's where I'm at, folks. That's where I'm at.
And so is now the time to bring somebody else in? In my vision for this team, I got Torts running the team next year, stepping aside into a management consulting role,
I can see that.
and then bringing in the coach of the future. Because after another year, I think that he'll have achieved everything that he can accomplish here. Because they're still building.
Sure.
They still need a lot of players in a lot of spots. So 3 years from now, I think the guy will explode. 3 years, quite frankly.
Donnie, what do you got?
I only have one other thing just to say, that I want to thank you so much. I was able to experience, I was one of the guys who skipped school together with Braves 2 years in a row. Thank you for the Stanley Cup. I really appreciate it.
The pleasure was definitely ours.
Thank you.
All right, looks like we got one
All
more
right, we
question.
have another question?
Right behind you.
Yeah, I'm concerned with you with the Flyers minor league team in Lehigh Valley Panthers. I don't think Coach Lackey should coach in Lehigh Valley Panthers. Because basically he's just playing all the veterans and not developing young core down there in Lehigh Valley. I see the games all the time up in Allentown.
Oh, really?
And they have some young core down in Lehigh Valley. And then they send them up to the Flyers and they're not ready because Coach Lackey's not playing them more time. He's always having the veterans down there.
Well, the hardest position to develop, 2 hard positions, are goaltending and defense. And the amount of time that you need to spend learning your craft of how to play defense seems to be taking a long time, because they've taken so much out of the game. It's all about angling and positioning, and you used to be able to put a stick on somebody. You can't do that anymore.
Yeah.
You used to be able to run a little interference. You can't do that anymore. So the craft of playing defense has totally changed. And truthfully, I have never seen a game, a Phantoms game down there, so I can't really speak directly to that. I believe that Lappy's a great leader, and while this city could be clamoring for a Berube or somebody to come in and coach, I gotta believe that in another year, that maybe somebody like Lappy could be the head coach here. You don't know. I think the guy's got the heart, he's got the business, the hockey intellect, and he's playing down there. He's playing the vets because he wants to get into the playoffs, I think. You know?
As of right now, they're in the playoff spot right now. But they have like 3 really young forwards down there, and they put them together, and they're working real well. and the next game, he breaks them up, and they're not, like, I was just at a game the other, on Sunday at Wilkes-Barre, and they broke it up the team, and they lost 5-1, because they weren't in, that didn't happen in the right position.
You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna text him and ask him what the hell he's doing with his young players. I'll see what he says.
All right, we got to move on. We got some business to take care of. First and foremost, we're going to get to the Mattis Minute in about 2 minutes. It's a great segment. We'll get you right after we're done. A couple of things. We got the Mattis Minute. This guy's perfect for that segment. This is going to be a lot of fun. So we're going to put him on the hot seat. But again, raffle prizes, come up and get your 2 free tickets. We draw ticket winners at 8 o'clock. All these goodies up here are going home somewhere. Somewhere they're going to have a new home. So come on up. Let's have some fun. Make a donation. All money goes to charity. We appreciate that. Lauren, are you ready?
Oh, I'm ready.
Don, are you ready?
Whatever.
Whatever. You sound real enthused.
All right, so I have 10 questions for you. The first thing that comes to your mind, but some of them are more of a story, so we want to hear that if you have a good story about it. Was there ever an NHL fight where you really got your butt kicked?
That's a long story because the answer is yes, multiple times.
Is Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan, just a little north of Moose Neck, Saskatchewan?
No, Moose Jaw is 6 feet from the moose's ass.
What was your second best sport to play?
Baseball.
When you were drafted by the Flyers in 1969, how did you find out it happened?
I was sitting at Molson Brewery with my teammates, and we had just gone to the Memorial Cup Finals, played against the Montreal Junior Canadiens. You had Mark Tardif, Ray John Houle, Marcel Dion, Mickey Redmond, Moose DuPont. I think that almost every one of those players played in the NHL, and we had 2 guys from our team, other than me, that played any games in the NHL. And that year, 5 guys expected to be drafted, and so we were sitting around having a couple beers, and we were listening to the radio and listening to the draft, and it went much quicker back then. And the first guy came up, his name was Ron Garwazik. He went in the 2nd round. Everybody expected that. He went to Detroit. And then it went dark. And then I got picked up in the, whatever it was, 5th round. And we were the only 2 that were drafted out of that. And I contributed by getting drafted to the series against the Montreal Junior Canadiens. We got beaten 4 games, and I had 2 goals and 4 assists, I believe. And Keith Allen asked our coach, Bob Turner, what he thought about Don Selesky, and he says, he's worth the pick. He's a diamond in the rough. So that was one of the best days of my life.
There you go.
During your NHL days, did you ever have any superstitions where you wore something or ate something specific before each game?
Pancakes every day. Always tape my sticks the same way at the same time. Laid them in a certain position in front of me in the dressing room. Got to the rink at the same time. Did everything exactly the same every day. I don't know if you call that superstition or screwed up.
Did the Sesame Street people ever ask you to appear on the show with the other Big Bird?
No, they missed out.
They did.
Which famous Philadelphia food would you consider to be your favorite?
Cheesesteaks.
Well, there was options, but
Oh,
cheesesteak was one of them.
What were the
Well,
other ones?
tasty cakes were also an option, soft pretzel or scrapple.
cheesesteaks and scrapple. I love
There
scrapple.
you go.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
What Flyers teammate over the years would you say was the wildest and craziest on and off the ice?
on and off the ice?
Same person. Wildest and craziest teammate on and off the ice.
Bobby Clark.
Why did it take so long to answer that question?
I knew the answer, right? He won't like me saying that.
Because they're so different, have you ever wondered if the Watson brothers might not really be related and they just made that up?
They are not that different. They are both very loud. Jimmy's somewhat more subdued, but not really. They are chips off of the same block.
And have you ever consulted Bernie Perron and Dave Schultz for tips on various disco dancing moves?
No.
All right, and that's a nice minute.
There we go.
Bill Mattis, he's in the house. He's probably playing golf back there with Jimmy Clark. Is he? Yeah. Go buy him a beer. He's a Bud guy. Go buy him a beer. Great segment every show. He just doesn't get enough recognition for putting this together for us. So great job. All right, my man here had a question earlier. I don't want to miss out on it because he's a big hockey guy.
Quick question. So I like how you brought up that like the whole NHL was rooting for you, of course. Consider you guys were the last team to play the Russians, and I'm like, oh well, I guess I got root for them because nobody could beat them, and everybody else is hot. So I have a question. Why do you think the NHL, Clarence Campbell, and I think everybody today still dislikes Philadelphia? My theory, my answer, I think it's because. Honestly, because you guys were the first expansion team to win it, and honestly, because you guys were the toughest SOBs in the building, and that's to do with what you did, because you weren't the first. And anybody that knows your lives or about the history will know that you guys weren't the first tough team, and in fact, you guys got your asses handed to you by the St. Louis Blues back in the day, who would always try and intimidate you, and nobody brought that up. And I think the coach of that team was Scotty Dolan, if I'm not mistaken. But it's always talking about like you guys are good. It always pisses me off to let people always like talk bad about you. Like everybody was playing the same style as you guys were. Not maybe Canadians, but I mean, I've seen some clips where they can play dirty and tough too, but I don't look at you guys like that. I think it's like kind of like an accident.
There's 42 questions and the answer.
I think I got a lot of that. You know what? The NHL was ready for an expansion team to win. I believe that they would have preferred it to be the St. Louis Blues. For whatever reason, they didn't view them as being a goon team that they called us. However, when I came in our first year, the brawl when St. Louis intimidated the Flyers was a year before Schultz and I all came up. And the first exhibition game, I'll never forget it because the players were on the ice in DuPont, and he was with St. Louis. And Noel Picard and somebody else, and
Laker brothers.
so we had this brawl like immediately because the last year they'd been in the stands, and Ed Snyder said this isn't going to happen to us again, and which led to the change in our team, in the Flyers team, and so everybody squared off, and the only guy that was left was this Noel Picard, and this dude was 6'7", probably 250 pounds, and I squared off with him, and he took a swing and missed me and stepped on a stick and fell down, and I jumped on him, and I thought, there is a God. Thank you, Lord. Saved my life. But that was the beginning of the end, because that brawl really started to transition to Flyers. Now, we, because of Schultz, he set records for fights and penalties. And during that year, during that season, we traded 2 guys for Andre Dupont. And I'll never forget that. That was one of the weirder trades that you'd ever see, because we were in the dressing room before the game, and I'm sitting next to Schultz, and Schultz was taping his knuckles so that, in anticipating he's going to have a fight with Dupont, taping up his knuckles so he could cut him. And so we look up, and here's this guy carrying a bag into our dressing room, and it's Dupont. He got traded right before the game. I turned to Schultz here, I said, I guess he can unwrap the knuckles tonight. So then we got Dupont, and from that on, we did do a lot of fighting. We intimidated the crap out of teams, let's put it that way. Some guys did not want to come into Philadelphia and play. But let's not forget, we had Leach, Clark, Barber, Dornhofer, Lonsberry. We had a third line, me, Kinnichuk, and Schultz. In spite of everything, I had 3 20-goal seasons plus. We had Terry Crisp as a backup center. We had deep talent. We had Tommy Bladen and Jimmy Watson on defense, and we had, Barry Ashby, Ed Van Em, Joe Watson, solid NHL veterans. So we had a hell of a hockey team, and we had Bernie Pratt, the best goalie, arguably, ever for that 2.5-year span until he hurt his eye. And I think if he didn't lose his eyesight and we played the Canadiens the next year, we could have won 3 years. But, Wayne Stevenson was a great goalie, but he wasn't Bernie Pratt, so losing Bernie really hurt us. But I guess trying to answer a lot of your questions and sum it up is, yeah, we were a tough team and we were bullies to a lot of teams, but we also were a very talented hockey team with a lot of 30 to 50 goal scorers on it. So, yeah.
All right, I think, Laurie, you got another question?
Those Blues teams were old, like nobody ever, they were never contenders. I think you were the first expansion team that was viewed as a contender.
Right.
And that's why you got the way that they never did.
Yeah, the Blues went to the finals 2 years in a row, but it was like they lost in 4 games. They never had a shot. They had one guy up the middle, the blonde-haired guy, I forget his name. He was a good hockey player, but they never had the depth or the talent that we did, or the goaltending. They weren't even close.
Just reference the 76 series final against Montreal.
Yeah.
I looked that up not too long ago, and even though there's 4 of them, those 4 games were really tight. And you guys were in Vermont, and I think McLeish.
We were down McLeish, Perrott, and Dornhofer. We were down 3 guys, 3 of our best players. The games were 1-goal games. They went into into overtime. Guess what? I think the last game it might have been more than 1 goal, but we could have, if we had Bernie in that and McLeish and Dornhofer, different game.
All right, Laurie?
We've got 6 trivia prizes.
6 trivia prizes, and they're as good as the raffle prizes tonight. So, Lauren, you're going to be the.
You might only have 5 though, Lauren. One of them was stolen there with the.
You're the trivia police.
With the Madison and one of those was stolen.
Well, then I would be assuming they were paying attention.
Well, that's true.
Exactly.
That's true.
All right, play the rules.
All right.
First one to raise your hand, and I'll bring it to you. Be nice to me, and hopefully the microphone doesn't yell at us.
Exactly. All right. What was Don's career high in goals for a season in the NHL?
27?
27 is correct.
Bingo.
Yep. 1977-78.
All right.
I'll tell you something, it should have been 28.
Yeah.
Because we were playing, it could have been 30. If I would have got 28, I would have got 30. We're playing against Toronto, and I came out of the penalty box, and Kinderchuk hit me at center ice, and I picked up the puck and I went in and scored. And the building was so loud, you couldn't hear anything. Kelly went offside. And you know what he said to me? Why didn't you give me the puck? I said, because you couldn't put the puck in the ocean, dude. I wanted to score.
All right, so one set of rules, if you win the first time, don't even bother putting your hand up the second time, all right?
Exactly.
We want to spread it around. We're spreading the love, all right? So go ahead, Johnny.
All right. What was what team did Don finish his career with in the NHL?
Ooh, they've all been Wikipediaing these questions.
There's a lady back there. Does she know?
The Rockies.
That lady got it, I think, back there.
Uh-oh.
Rockies?
Don's in charge now, so I'm just merely out here with the money.
What lady are you referencing, Mr. Selesky?
That pretty one there.
That pretty one where? There's like 7 of them.
On the
this
left
one
side.
right here, this table,
Yeah.
she got it?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, we'll make sure that's part of the Dunn family and their trouble. So they're all trouble. The
Rockies are
the whole
correct.
family. The Rockies are correct. And we took care of the pretty lady for you, okay? All right? There you go.
All right, we got 3 left now.
3 left, all right. So we're gonna go with, what round was Don drafted in?
Look at this crowd.
I kind of remember that.
Don, do we agree that he had his hand up first, this guy? Or
Who?
you weren't? No, you
I wasn't
weren't.
looking. I wasn't looking.
They got the same first name.
The 6th round is correct.
6th round. Okay, I said 5th earlier. I
Yeah,
can't remember.
64th overall. You could be like a 2nd rounder today.
Yeah, right.
You
See,
know?
I'm a 2nd round drafter.
You're a 2nd round.
Yeah,
not a
exactly.
6th. You're a 2nd round. You can't do anything. All right. How many goals did Don score in his career?
Ooh.
In his career.
NHL career.
We agree on this one?
Yeah. I can't even answer that.
128.
That is correct. That is
Good
correct.
job.
And we got one left.
Yeah, and then there was one.
All right. And this one's going to end up following into a question or a segment that we're going to talk about as well.
Okay.
Story. All right. We all know that Don's nickname is the Bird.
Big Bird.
Big Bird. How did he get that nickname?
You got a couple people.
Yeah, she's going way
Yeah,
back.
and I heard
Clark gave it to him.
this guy.
That is incorrect.
Wrong.
Incorrect.
Wrong. Tony, what do you got?
You'll hear the story to figure it out. Don't look shocked. You're partly right, but it's not.
I believe they shortened it.
Wrong.
Oh,
Wrong.
no.
Wrong.
Mr. Hockey is wrong.
Wrong. Who wants to take a shot? Here we go. You got a hand up, or are you just itching your? You got an answer.
Kicking his fin, said he was a big bird.
There you
There you
go.
go.
There you go. There you go. Good job.
And then Bob Clark took it.
You can't wait
So,
to tear
so
that envelope.
you can tell the story about that.
I know it was. Yeah, it was before the game, and the glass was real low, so everybody could hang over, and we talk to fans and give them pucks and stuff. And I was standing right beside the boards, and this kid said, "Hey, Mom, that guy looks like Big Bird." And Clarky heard it, and he wanted to leave the ice early. He was laughing so hard he couldn't wait to get into the dressing room. And he says, "Hey, Bird," and he told everybody the story, and that was it. From then on, it was. So it was a kid.
So what was Big Bird around from? Well, I guess you guys would think he saw it. So.
Somebody told me the other day that was Big Bird's first year in existence also,
Oh, okay.
which is probably why they never had me on TV.
There you go.
All right, we need to talk about Flyers Carnival. I'm sure everyone in the room here has partaken in the Flyers Carnival at some point, some year, somewhere. Talk a little bit about it. Your wife has been a big sponsor of that from way back. Just give us some info on the carnival and what it means to the Flyers organization.
Well, we started that, my wife did, with a few of the other wives, the year before Barry Ashby passed away. And it's been a hit. God, I can't even tell you. You could probably look it up how many years it's been, but it's got to be over 40 years now. And for the community, it has been probably one of the longest running, most successful events, charity events in the whole Delaware Valley. And I'm really proud of Mary Ann, my wife, because she was intimately involved in that for a long, long time.
It was 1977.
1977, that's right, because that's about when Barry left. And
Yeah.
it's a big part of the Flyers history. The fans love it, the players love it. And I didn't go this year, but I watched some of it on TV. You can see that fans and players are all still very engaged, having a good time. The Carnival's, it's really part of the Flyers organization. It's part of their values and tells you a lot about who they are, giving back to the community and being close to their fans and touching their base. One of the better events out there. I like it a lot.
Yeah, it's a big testament to the city of Philadelphia, the fans supporting the teams, but also the teams themselves being able to, going out and doing it.
It's about giving back. It's
Right.
kind of like, in life, we have responsibilities to give back whatever our talents are, whatever we're gifted with. It's a responsibility that we all have in whatever way we can to give back to the communities that we live in.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
support charity and support people in need.
Exactly.
And these aren't people in need that go, the Flyers need these people because they're damn good fans because they show up every year.
Yep.
Regardless of if you're winning or losing, our Philadelphia fans are there for the long haul. It's a great sports town. The biggest expectation is you give everything you got, you work hard, and we have the blue collar roots, and that's the expectation from the team. And that's what we like mostly about this team for the majority of this season, is their blue collar mentality. And by the way, since we're talking about it, I don't think that you sit Delorier. I don't care who you're playing or what you're playing against, having that guy's presence on the bench as a motivational guy to your team, because he's a great team guy, but also don't be looking at your clock, but he's also tough as nails, and he can set guys
We've been
back on their
talking for an
heels.
hour and a half, and we finally agree on something.
We agree on something. You do not sit out this guy. You don't do it. It's not right to the team, his teammates, or him.
But he's also been a healthy scratch a few nights.
That's my point. You don't scratch him. You don't scratch this guy because he's the heart and soul of that team.
100%.
He gives everybody more courage. And, it's nothing against the guys they substitute him with. They're good hard workers, but they're not going to change a game. This guy can change a game for you with one hit. You don't do that. And I hope Torts is listening tonight, because if he screwed up one thing, Torts, you screwed up not keeping that guy in the damn lineup.
That's one other thing I want to talk about before with Torts. He's at least accountable. Like he's said when he's made mistakes or as well, and it sounds like from within he's accountable to his teammates or his players, that they talk to him about it, stuff before. So I don't know if from the outside it may look a little bit different, but like
nobody talked to him about this because the skill level between these different guys is minute.
right.
So substituting a guy like, you can't put a gauge on Delorier's, what he can do for your team. In terms of when I talk about giving other guys courage on the team, that can be more valuable than some asset that you're putting in there that you hope can generate some offense.
Right.
Come on, You kidding me? This guy's gonna go balls out every game. Let him go. And you know what? He ought to be around next year because who else is gonna take that courage role? During the season, you need that even more because you're playing game in, game out. Everybody's got a tough guy. You gotta have somebody that's gonna be out there as your equalizer to give your other guys on the team courage.
Right.
We got a question over here from Laurie, and for those who don't know her, she keeps this show together. She's the glue,
Somebody's got to.
right?
Yeah, this thing's gonna fall apart if you
The
leave.
wheels will definitely fall off, but she's there to keep John and I straight each and every week. So how about a big hand for Laurie? She's hiding behind the phone.
Yeah.
You got a question for Mr. Selesky?
So no, earlier in the show, you said that Hathaway reminds you of Dorney. Is there a player on the current team that reminds you of you?
I would also use Hathaway as that model. Hathaway's a very effective guy for these guys. So I'm reluctant to do that. So I choose Dorney as opposed to me.
Right.
But he's gonna stick his nose in there. He's always gonna come to play. And he's a guy that I would be proud to model my game after.
And as a baseball fan, are you also a Phillies fan?
Absolutely.
Okay. Do you think this is the year?
You know what? It's now or never.
Yeah.
And you know what? I've been watching early in the spring. And today I was watching the game with
No.
Nolan pitching. And he's not an April guy.
The whole
His,
team isn't apparently.
no, and their bats aren't working. And I think they're a better team than last year. I think the bullpen's stronger. Harper playing at first base regular now, I think is gonna help them. Turner's had a year in here where he's more grounded now. I think he's more comfortable with where he is. Bohm and Stotts are gonna come on. I like their outfield. We got a strong team. It comes down to pitching. Now, the good thing is, I think this year our bullpen's stronger than last year, I think. That's my opinion.
Were you at WrestleMania over the weekend?
Was that where?
At WrestleMania over the weekend.
You know what? Not a fan, I'm sorry.
That's all right.
And
You had a couple of claps on it.
yeah, I like The Rock. I would have liked to see him.
I feel the same way.
I like his politics.
Any wrestling fans out there? WrestleMania? Come on.
All right.
Come on. Come on. Oh, I got a thumbs down from not at all. Not at all. Come on. Come on. I know a lot of these guys back there were there.
Oh, yeah.
I saw them. I didn't get invited for the cheesesteaks, but I saw you.
I'm more a fan of the martial arts stuff. Those guys are killers in those cages. Man, let me tell you something. Those are some tough people that go into those things and fight. Scary.
And they're not made up.
And there's nothing made up there.
All right, Siri's talking to you on your phone, Don, so I don't know if.
Yes.
Uh-oh.
But before we let you go,
There's a device not working, it says.
the device isn't working. All right, that's okay. How was the experience with your son, or grandson, playing in the World Series last year? The Little League World Series.
I mentioned it earlier, other than winning the cups
Yeah.
and
Because you got to see a lot of
playing
people.
against Russia. I was up there in Williamsport for 2 weeks. What was amazing was, I think it's the first time a team from Delaware County's made it to the World League World Series. And when they won the state championship, that was in Newtown Square. That was awesome to be there and watch that. Then they went up to Bridgeton, Connecticut, and they were there for 2 weeks. So when they left here, they went up there for 2 weeks, and most of these kids had never been away from their parents, and they were in a dorm. And then they won the states, and they got on a bus and went to Williamsport for another 2 weeks. So they were a month away. And what's amazing about these kids, when you talk about discipline and perseverance, and just what it takes to accomplish and be successful in life, these kids exemplified that. They started out in June 1st. The only day off they had till they lost in the Little League Series was July 4th. They practiced or played a game every other day, every day. And they went 16 in a row without losing a game. And when they won the states, their best player, pitcher, shortstop, they had 2 great players, but their best player broke his elbow. So they went and won the Mid-Atlantic after that without their best player. So these kids, what they did and how they persevered and the discipline that they showed, when I was sitting at those games up in Williamsport for those 2 weeks, watching those games, I literally was crying. I had tears in my eyes watching it. It was so great. So great for Delaware Valley.
All right, we unfortunately need to close it out. Johnny, did you have a last comment?
Well, that was my thing, wanting to see about the Little League World Series with baseball starting up. And, I'm a big baseball fan myself. And, that experience had to be, priceless.
Well, it was priceless. And just my youngest grandson, JJ, he's 5. He said to me, "Papa, in 7 years, that's where I'm going to be playing. We're going to win it all."
There you go. That's awesome.
Nice.
That's Delco.
Yeah,
There you go.
that's the way to do it.
All right, there's plenty of Lagunitas. Did I pronounce that properly? No. Did I butcher it?
No, Lagunitas.
Lagunitas. There's plenty of Lagunitas left at $5 up. I guess that's a pint.
It's
It
good
is a
beer,
pint.
by the way. It's very
And you
good
get to
beer.
keep the glass. Come on.
Yeah.
What's that? You got a whole keg? I'll be over. It's 6.2 and it's really good. Don and I finished one off during the show, so impressive. Any closing comments for us?
No, thanks for having me. It's I love Delaware County. It's always great to be in the neighborhood. I've been living here for 50 years in Delco. I'm a proud Delco person, part of the Delco Hall of Fame, and real people we've got in this community. I
There
love
you
being here.
go. There you go. Let's give it up.
There you go. Somebody also wasn't knowing that the end of the show was coming and is not available at the moment.
Who's
Well,
that?
Yeah, waiting for wishing her happy birthday.
we gonna do it live?
No.
No, well, we're gonna do it,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
We got a birthday in the house and,
Yep.
and we're gonna celebrate a little bit. But again, raffle prizes, 8 o'clock, thereabouts. Don't crucify me if it doesn't happen at 8 o'clock.
Yeah, sure, ran a little late today, so.
You know, but again, I want to thank everybody, Jimmy Clark, Donnie Clark, all the Clarks, for having us here at Hanrahan's. We are back here,
May 15th.
there you go, thank you, Johnny.
Yep.
May 15th, our guest with us for the first time will be Ben Davis.
There you go.
I like it.
Another Delco guy,
He's the best.
Yes.
Ben Davis, folks.
Now, nobody's as good as Croc, though, right?
Yeah.
Croc is the man.
working on that one too.
There you go. There you
With your
go.
help, maybe we can make it happen.
So did Jimmy Clark, where's Jimmy?
Right there he is.
There you go.
He gave the
There
big
you
fist
go.
bump.
You surfaced at the right time.
He fist bumped right as he heard it.
Again, thanks for having us. Thank you, Hanrahans. Take care of your servers, your bartender, please. Take care of these people. This is their livelihood. This is what they do for us. So take care of them. We will see you May 15th.
Sounds good. Thank you.